And welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me remind you that we are covered by the BIP-COT No Government License, which allows for the reuse, redistribution, and alteration of this podcast by everyone except for Bludgies and the agents thereof. You can learn more about that. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is bipcot.org. And this is episode 26. Which I called hashtag back the Bludgies because we have a lot of bludgie related articles tonight.
We're now over the quarter century mark.
Yes, we are over the quarter century mark. We have been recording for over a year now, you guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
which last episode was technically a year, but we skipped a week and another week and
did
we?
Oops. It happens.
But we got around to it eventually.
Did we?
No.
Somewhere.
Hey,
Somewhere.
we're all winging it. Some of us make it look better than others, all right?
Hey,
Alternate universe.
We have not pod faded yet. So we are still golden.
Yeah,
Alright.
we're rolling fucking right along.
But we are
here.
pointing out our mistakes.
Yep. I'm talking to you, Merrick Van Landingham, a Radical Logic podcast, Mr. Captain of the Pod Fade.
Well, some shit. They had a meltdown, kind of, right?
I don't know. Not my business,
Something.
but he needs to get his shit back on the air.
Well, I don't know if we will pod fade anytime soon because we're not here for you guys. We're here for us.
Exactly.
That's right.
The
We don't give a shit if we
anti-celebrity
have topics to talk about.
That's
We talk to
right.
each other.
That's right.
We're more likely to pop fade than pod fade.
Right.
Yeah, word, dude.
Sometimes
Happens to the
before
best of us.
podcast.
And if we ever all get in the same room at the same time and try to record, it's going to be a disaster.
Yes.
Oh my.
Wonderful.
That could happen. We should do that at like Midwest Peace and Liberty or something.
Hot box the recording studio.
Yeah.
Fucking A. I'm totally down for that.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I think I'm gonna go this year.
What time of year is it?
June.
It's June. Yeah, it's in June this year.
Yeah,
I want to
it's in
say
Michigan,
like June
right?
22nd or some shit like that.
That's
But
like
maybe that was last year.
Oh, I have a smartphone. I can look it up.
I want to say
Nice.
that's like maybe a 12-hour drive from where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 14 hours for us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like probably about 8 hours from like where I live to east like Ohio. So
Yeah. It'll take even longer for us this year because we've got puppies who
June-
have to stop and let them go pee.
yeah,
June,
right.
June 22nd to the 26th.
Totally different story.
We can all like
22nd.
converge
Oh,
in
nice.
Ohio.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
right. June 22nd.
How about that?
Yeah. Shit.
I'll bring the
It's been known
suitcase
to
full of
happen.
drugs like fucking Fear and Loathing.
Nice. But you have to recite the monologue too.
Yeah, well, I ain't spilling the fucking salt shaker this time, I'll tell you that. But wait, there's more.
On to a more innocent topic. Today is Declan's birthday. Just so everybody out there on
Happy
YouTube knows.
birthday.
Yep.
He's 5 years old today.
The Bip Tot.
That's awesome.
Yep.
My spirit animal.
That's right. The Declavore.
He's a madman.
Yes.
Big 5-0.
That's right.
The real
That's
life
right.
Donnie Thornberry.
Yeah. Seriously. We're not doing a party till next weekend because everybody's fucking sick. Everybody was sick this week. Not in our house. Like the people that we could have invited, though. Like nobody could come because everybody was sick.
Yep.
So,
Well, it's convenient, I guess, that everybody got sick at the same time.
I guess. Yeah.
I think the whole East Coast is sick, man.
Except for us.
I didn't
Well,
get sick
I'm
either.
not gonna like
We're
jinx
homeschoolers,
anything, but
so we're isolated.
yeah,
I
haven't.
picked up some sniffles yesterday for my kid's birthday party.
Yeah,
I haven't been
Kids.
sick in like 3 years.
yeah,
Well, aren't you just fucking special?
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Whoop-de-doo, Dan. Good for you.
You know what my secret is? Lots of
What?
cigarettes and lots of coffee.
Yeah, well,
Excellent.
I'd be fucking immortal at that rate. Yeah.
It's formaldehyde. It's what germs hate, or something,
Right.
something. I don't know.
Right.
Somebody
It's
told
all
me
about
something
creating
about
an inhospitable environment for them.
Right.
Exactly. It's so toxic, nothing can live. I take the
It's like a
complete
fucking-
opposite
It's like
approach to
Chernobyl all
nutrition.
up in there and shit.
The complete opposite approach to nutrition.
Right. I'm
Hey.
gonna eat just nothing with any nutritional value to any carbon-based life form.
Hey, my nana,
Where
my
do you get
nana,
your,
my,
all
my
your
great,
nutrients, bro? I smoke them.
my nana lived to be 92, drinking soda, whiskey, and smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, I'm telling you, like some people are just like that. It's weird. It's like, and if they stop smoking, they get cancer. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like that's all that was staving it off. Was they were
Yeah,
killing
right.
cells faster than they could form.
Cancer cells are like, the gates are down, the gates are down.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
The fog of war has lifted.
It's crazy how that works. Man.
Oh God. Well, no, but we
See, that's
seriously
what-
we.
Go ahead.
ahead.
Dee.
I was
No,
just
go
gonna say all we do is just get lots of fresh air, drink lots of water, wash our hands, and take our fucking vitamins.
Yeah,
know?
no doubt.
So.
I
And
take
we
Especially with
just
kids.
too.
we just stay the fuck away from everybody else during flu season.
That's the
Yeah,
key.
right. Seriously. Seriously, dude. Just quarantine for like 3 months.
Seriously, since we started homeschooling again, we've barely been sick. But when the kids were in public school, oh my God, we were fucking constantly sick.
Uh-huh.
And not just with colds, but with like nasty shit. Like
Oh, yeah, dude.
strep that was laying us the fuck out. And
Yeah, that's because you had all those kids going through all that shit, and then like
I
they were
know.
getting shots and taking meds, and then they were shedding, and it's just
I know. And
school's brutal.
I've always called public school the public petri dish.
Uh-huh.
Dude,
Because
it is
Definitely an
a germ
incubator for
fucking
sure.
factory.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yep. I've never been more sick than after visiting my mom in the hospital.
Yeah, I know. And
20
then,
years as a paramedic, motherfuckers. I've got a cast iron immune system.
right. Oh,
Right.
and also the other thing that we do to not get the flu is to not get the flu shot. We haven't gotten
Yeah.
that in years, and we haven't gotten the flu in years.
I've never
Which-
gotten
Yeah,
a
no,
flu shot.
fuck that.
Which according to the CDC this year is only about 10% effective.
Right.
Well,
And
because
every
it's like a
year
shot
that-
in the
Now, I
dark.
will say I made a shit ton of money from the state of Pennsylvania giving H1N1 shots a few years ago, but I did not get one.
Oh, I'm
myself.
sure. Yeah, no. Of course not.
But we every year that we got the flu shot, we got the fucking flu. And every year that we didn't get it, we didn't get the fucking flu.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I kind of played with it for a couple years to see what would happen, and that's what happened. So we just don't fucking get the shot anymore.
It's like trying to
You know?
thread a wet noodle through a needle.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
No good.
Nice
That's
little play on
about
words.
as effective as it is.
Yep. Yeah. I'm
Yep.
sorry, your guess isn't a good enough reason to inject me with a fucking strain of the flu.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, my
yes,
doctor
Dylan.
always asks me
Yes,
if I want the
Dylan,
fucking flu
it
shot.
says
and
me
shit.
more veteran.
Yeah,
Me
it's
more
dope.
veteran. Nice.
I love that fucking
Dylan,
hat, dude.
yeah, Dylan asked in the comments. Yes, I got it from
What?
libertariancountry.com.
Awesome.
I needed a new hat for podcasts, so
Makes sense.
Oh, I need a hat for the podcast.
What happened to your mountain man? The shit you used to wear.
Oh, it's around here somewhere.
Oh.
My life is in like Rubbermaid totes.
Right. Well,
half
of ours.
I moved in
too.
September. It's still that way.
Dude, our whole upstairs, like nothing has been done with it. You remember how many fucking boxes were up there? And then all the boxes that were in the main entryway. I know you did. And then all the boxes that were against the walls in the entryway, they're all the fuck up there too now.
Well, at least they're out of your entryway.
Nice.
That's true. That's true. Now we just have like the dog playpen and the dog crate and all their bullshit in there. But whatever.
How does have you guys used the treadmill yet?
No, I had to order a new key for it because we couldn't find the key.
Oh, damn.
So, I know, but I just got it. And so we're going to start using it again. It is set up. I just needed a new key for it. I know. You should be the first to know because that thing was such a bitch. Oh my God. You guys had to work so hard to get that down the stairs.
That shit was funny.
Oh my God.
Right, what was the story? It had to go into like 3 pieces to get down the stairs or something like that?
Yeah. But you can't take it like totally apart because there's
But we already had it
wires
halfway down the
all of
stairs when we decided we had to take it apart.
Right?
Like, motherfucker.
Right, but you can't take it in like totally into pieces because there's wires running through it, running through the like the metal tubing that make up the frame. So they could like undo the frame, but then it still had to be carried down like it was one long articulated piece of fucking equipment because it just doesn't come all the way apart.
Yeah, there wasn't like unbolting the handlebars and undoing a plug. We had to like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like a fucking bucket of nuts and bolts and screws.
Right. That thing is huge. It's one of those like Live Strong ones that you see at the gym, like the huge fucking bulky one. It's got a little fan in it and cup holders and shit. I mean, it's like
It's decked out.
Yeah.
Industrial strength.
Right. And it's one of the ones that has like the super incline on it. So you know it's got that big fucking thing on the end. Oh man, it's heavy. It's heavy.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
If you guys ever sell the house and move out, that thing can fucking stay there. I don't think.
Yeah,
Mark will
exactly.
move it again.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, not twice.
Comes with the property.
Yeah.
But I know how to take it apart now.
Right. Well, once we get all the equipment in the gym, it's not ever coming out. I mean, the house is going to come with a fully equipped gym, you know, with a squat rack and everything. Because I'm not fucking moving.
A fully
any
equipped
of it.
family.
Right.
We're not moving.
Right.
We'll just stay in the basement.
Right. You just buy it and make the payments, and we'll stay right here.
Oh shit.
I don't want to move all my shit again. Sorry. So
Moving's never fun.
no, God no. But it was more fun with Mark helping out. It was a lot more fun.
Well, Mark can't reply because
Mark
Mark
dropped
disappeared.
I know he did.
Yeah.
God damn it, Mark!
Fucking Mark.
I bet he forgot to charge his tablet or
Probably.
phone.
He said he's on his phone. Yeah. I keep my phone on my charger while we're doing this.
Yeah, for real, you got to.
Yeah.
She'll drain the fuck out of your battery.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have my laptop plugged in.
Like I can do little excursions without it,
Yeah,
but I
Hi,
can come
Mark.
right back.
Hey.
Hey,
I
there,
droned
long time no
myself.
see, buddy.
Can't hit the right button.
I was just saying that you made moving more fun, Mark.
Oh, well, good.
So, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and I mean, you kept the coffee flowing, and
right. And I still
Little
have
bit
your
of-
water bottle.
oh, right.
Right.
I haven't forgotten about that.
You
I'm gonna
guys
be
need to
back
come
for
down
it.
again. You need to come down again. Just not the weekend of March 2nd because my brother will be here, but
We could have like a fucking show for Mark on like HLN called like fucking Moving with Mark, the voluntary agrarian.
right. Yeah.
Fueled by indica and caffeine.
Right, exactly. Well, so sativa. You want sativa for a moving show. You gotta have sativa.
I just want that shit to not even know it happened.
Hey, so you guys know how there's that cul-de-sac named after me in my hometown?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Well,
yeah,
like-
I saw that thread.
I saw your post. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're all like, Scott and like James Palermo and all of them are talking about how statist I am and how I set up speed traps and shit. And I was like, no. You mean weed traps. I set up weed traps in my neighborhood on my roads. All right. No speed traps, just weed traps. Stand and deliver your fucking weed. That's right. Now get out of here.
The highway woman of
Facebook peeps, man.
Minville.
That's right. Yeah, that bitch is cray cray.
It's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Like I'm like friends with very few of my Facebook friends on fucking Twitter.
Really?
Because Twitter sucks. It's evil.
I know. I have a hard time even wanting to get on Twitter.
I have no other option though. Like I'm fucking
I know.
perma-banned from Facebook.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Well, hey, now somebody else that we thought was perma-banned from Facebook.
Yep, that's true. That's
waited
true.
a while and just came back with a new account. And I mean, he doesn't have his regular pictures up, and there's a
different name and
under a different name. He just gave it some time.
There.
Yep.
Why? Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not gonna say his name because
Yeah.
fuck Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Right. We'll put it on Telegram later.
Oh, okay.
He's one of our favorite Mexicans, though.
They're always
We're talking
watching.
about-
If that helps.
Yeah. One of our
And he's
favorite
an
Mexicans.
And he's in
Yeah.
Anarchy right now.
Our favorite ANCAP.
Oh, nice.
How about that?
Yeah.
Nice.
One
Yeah,
of
I know
our
who you're
favorite
talking about.
proponents of Kratom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know who we're talking about.
One of the good guys.
One of the good guys.
Right.
Yes.
One of the good guys.
No. Speaking of good guys,
Yeah.
how about the guy, Kamul Chef Sanders? His nickname is Chef. Kamul Sanders. You guys hear about him? Cancer,
No,
Illinois.
his nickname's Chef.
Yep. The Macon County Sheriff's Office and Health Department shut down operations at Camille Chef Sanders' home. Sanders made food at his home to give to the homeless and to sell to friends, but the health department searched his home and confiscated his cooking equipment due to lack of proper permits.
The bastard.
Deputies said it is illegal to sell food from your home without a proper license. Quote, it is a health issue with people consuming foods, said Lieutenant Jamie Belcher. The health department wants to make sure the food is actually consumable. The health department ruled that Sanders was in violation of the cottage food laws.
Because nobody's ever gotten sick from eating at a place that does have a license to sell food.
Oh, totally. Everybody knows that licenses and permits give you the ability to do things, right? Like when you're
magically. It's
when
magic.
your license expires,
you pay the money,
it's
and you're magically instilled with the knowledge.
It's like a force
ability.
field against foodborne illnesses.
Yep.
It
When
really
your
is.
license
That
expires, like when your driver's license expires, and suddenly you don't know how to operate a car anymore.
Right.
You just
It's
ran
terrible.
that fucker off the road.
Right.
Right.
You could be
I
driving
hate
down
when
the
that fucking
road at
happens.
midnight on your birthday, and your driver's license expires,
Yep.
and you just run
Cram
right off
into
the
a
fucking road into the ditch.
Yep.
They should have it. Like, what was that? What's that movie in the late
Isn't that what happened
80s,
to
early
RJ?
90s? They had the collars that exploded if they got too far out of the prison. It should just be like that.
Oh.
I think it was a Sylvester Stallone movie. It should just explode.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it. Yeah.
So
I
this
don't know,
guy,
I'm drawing a
What
blank.
was it?
this guy, Chef Sanders, he Shane Radliff of Liberty Under Attack. He's in Decanter, Illinois, and
Liberty Under Attack?
Liberty Under Attack. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think so.
Shane
We started
Radliff,
saying libertarian something.
Shane Radliff contacted this guy and was actually able to go and have an interview with the guy.
Nice.
The guy turned down local news because he felt they weren't going to portray his story correctly.
Right.
So the
I
guy
would
talked
too.
to Shane. It's up on libertyunderattack.com. And this guy, okay, the city there, the city of Decanter, they have a policy that allows homeless people to sleep in the jail overnight, but they have to be out of there by 7 a.m. the next morning.
Yep.
This guy would make hot breakfast, take it down to the jail, give food to the homeless people before they left.
Nice man.
Fantastic, right? The police
Yeah,
knew
right?
about him.
Seriously.
The police were cool with him. He had no issue with the police at all, right? This was the county health department that raided him. He wasn't home at the time. Like he was making food. Or his sister called and said that she wanted some food or whatever. So he left to take food to her. And when he got back, there was a yellow Ryder truck backed up to his house, and the feds were in there unloading everything.
So they're stealing.
The feds took his equipment and all of his food. They took food out of the fridge.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
took-
what? Like
because
hearing
it-
the story more and more, it's like it just keeps pissing me the fuck off because it's
Right.
like honestly, like what, like the guy's cooking fucking food.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes even farther than that. Like this guy,
If the state wasn't around to stifle people's fucking actual charity, which like people are pretty charitable for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even get it, man. It just drives me insane.
Me too.
It goes even for like this guy doesn't have money. This guy lives, by his words, this guy lives in the ghetto. He's poor.
Yeah, because he understands what the fuck
this
it's like to
guy-
not have nothing.
Talking to Shane about this afterwards. He was telling me about the guy, and we were talking about it. Like the guy is so poor, he missed his last car payment, but he still chooses to do this to feed the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's his calling. It's what he chooses to do, and not just feeding the homeless. Like there's like I said, it's the ghetto. It's a very 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 poor area, and there are kids in the neighborhood that don't have food, and they come to him and he'll feed them too. So not only is he feeding the homeless, but he's feeding members of his own community on his own dime.
Uh-huh.
That rat bastard.
But he didn't have a health permit. So the health department came and confiscated his cooking equipment and literally took food out of his refrigerator.
Now, did
My
they do
God.
shit like this during the Great Depression?
No.
You know what I mean? Like, think about it.
Did the
Like,
health
You gotta
department
remember,
exist?
that's
then?
like how people got by and shit. Like, everybody was helping each other out because everybody was like fucking.
soup kitchens. Like there was churches, individuals, government. There was a hell of a lot of soup kitchens and things like that. And I agree completely, Mark. Do what you want. But
Yeah.
That's right. That's how we roll.
I urge
It's just
everybody.
madness, man. Like, why would you stifle fucking charity? Like, if people are going to be kind enough to do something out of their, like, because, I mean, there are
Because-
people that are selfish assholes that wouldn't do anything for anybody. So why
Well,
the
you
fuck would you
feed the
stifle?
homeless,
Like,
they might get sick. Oh, really? Because if I don't feed them, they might get
like
dead.
they're fucking
you
worried
assholes.
about fucking homeless people. They'd fucking be glad if
Yeah.
homeless people died. Are you kidding me?
That's
A
true.
little bit of population control there.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. It's all like it's like all like virtue signaling pretty much, Like, no, we care about these people, but
it's-
really in actuality we really fucking don't.
As
Yeah.
it's what
We just
you
don't
and I
want you
talked about.
helping people.
It's what you and I were talking about before the show, Dan. It's about the difference between legality and legal.
Yeah.
Right. Like what this guy did wasn't wrong, right? There was no moral issue to it. He didn't have any victims. He didn't hurt anybody. Like people weren't getting poisoned by his food. But what he did was technically illegal because he didn't have the government's permission.
Right.
Yep.
Because he didn't involve them, because he didn't beg their
Uh-huh.
permission.
It did
Yes.
not please his
If it
majesty.
pleases the crown.
It didn't please the crown.
And he did to a certain degree. In the interview we did with Shane, he does mention going to a class regarding
Food safety.
food safety, right? So he did go to a food safety class, and he did have a
food handler's license
certificate from that.
Right.
But he didn't have the county's permission to.
No, he didn't pay the county their fucking money. That's what he didn't do.
That's exactly it. Yep.
And that's what it is. It's the county. It wasn't the city, right? The cops were cool. The city cops were cool. As I said, he fed the homeless people in the jails, like before they left. So I mean, there was no issue with the city. It's just the county. He didn't have the paperwork.
Health departments. They're great. I love them.
He didn't buy back his freedom.
Yeah.
No.
He dared to help people without involving the government.
Like this guy.
I think the whole reason behind it is it's not so much about the fact that they're worried about homeless people. It's the fact that they want people to be dependent on government and not helping each other out.
Right.
Like they want to stamp out any kind of like voluntary action that would fucking get people helping each other out and encourage that,
The way the government has become dude, that's loud as fuck, Mark.
Sorry.
I thought that shit was like a jet taking off.
I live in an airport.
It's just Mark blowing his vape.
He does live in an airport. There's assholes flying all over that place.
That's right. Asshole vapors.
Asshole vapors. What I was going to say is, like, to me, the ultimate end of government, where it always ends up pushing towards, because let's be reasonable, there's no way to reasonably limit even government. There just isn't. That kind of thing just feeds on itself and keeps feeding on itself. And, because people have to keep justifying their fucking job by coming out with more rules and regulations and shit. So there's no reasonable way to limit this to begin with. And the ultimate end of it is...
the only reason they exist is to, legislate, pretty much, and then, sign off on the legislation. It's just to create new laws and more new laws on top of those new laws. And it's like...
Right, exactly.
Where the fuck does it stop?
And the ultimate end of this, is, no lateral interaction between people. Like, the government will be this nexus, and there'll be single lines from each person, and nothing happens between two people without going through that fucking nexus of government first.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so
that's what's the problem?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I can't see anything that could go wrong with that.
Right. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, see, I've been making the argument to a lot of people lately. I'm like, would you rather manage your own money? Are you better at managing your own money, or would you rather have a middleman that takes a cut and manages your fucking money fucking horribly?
Right. I was gonna say not only a middleman, but a middleman who has no fucking clue what he's doing with money. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's I was the only reason for taxation is so that they can pay for shit with your money that you don't want to fucking pay for yourself.
Exactly. Because if you wanted to pay for it, you would.
Exactly.
But it's for the greater good.
As defined by whom?
To again quote Derek J. Freeman, I wouldn't go to Starbucks if Starbucks dropped bombs.
Nope.
That's what it is with the government. Nope. If people valued libraries, they would donate to libraries. If people valued roads, they would donate to agencies that built roads, to homeless. And just as we do right now, there's millions of charities in this country, and people donate to them every single day.
Yep.
But I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody willingly donating to governments.
Roads wouldn't even be a charity. I mean, that's something that everybody literally needs.
Yeah, it's kind of
even if you're agoraphobic and never leave your house, you still need roads so that people can deliver shit to your house.
Well, I can make an argument with that.
Not if there's Amazon drones.
That's true. That's true. What we really
need is more drones.
More drones. and flying cars.
I'll just give
Where
them
we're going, we don't need
I'll give them the
roads.
key to my front door and shit, so they can drop shit off inside. There's nothing could possibly go wrong there.
No, it's cool. Just leave a window open.
No, seriously, they have a thing now, like with Amazon, that you can they have this shit where they'll literally drop it off inside your house.
Yes, yeah. Amazon Go and I think Amazon Fresh both have that. Where if you have if you have an electronic door lock with the 4 keys or 6 keys or whatever it is, you can give them a one-time use code, and they'll punch in the code, and then put your groceries in the refrigerator, or put your boxes inside and then leave.
Nice.
I'm not down with that. I'm not down.
Oh
with
hell
that.
no!
Now,
No freaking
what
way
I
I'm
am down
no.
with is the Walmart near me finally has grocery pickup, where you shop online and then you drive up and they put the shit in your car. That's I'm
pretty
okay
cool.
with. But I'm not.
Here they actually have delivery grocery services.
Yeah, not out in the fucking boonies where I live.
Yeah, my Safeway,
Well, it's
my
not
Safeway
that
will
far in the
deliver.
boonies, but still, it's a little bit rural where I live, so they don't do that shit here. But
Yeah.
My Safeway will deliver groceries, and we also have a really good a selection for Grubhub. So
Nice.
I can yeah.
Well, you
So
live
I can get
close
pretty
to
much
like
Uber will
Silicon
deliver
Valley and
food
shit.
to you too.
Yeah, that's true. But Jason lives close to Silicon Valley. He can't
Well, no,
understand.
Not really. He's north.
No, I'm north of that. I'm on the
He's
eastern
way
edge
north.
of the Bay Area.
You live closer than we do, is what I'm saying. Like you live within like probably their test range for new, some of these
Nukes.
tech startups. Right. I meant like the tech startup businesses, or the
for the kill drones.
right. Right. Right.
We
Fucking
did
Zuckerberg's Terminator Army.
we did just have a company. We did just have a startup company that is delivering recreational cannabis now too.
Nice.
Well, there's a lot of those in
Nice.
DC. They have apps,
Yeah.
and you just give them your location, and you don't buy cannabis. You buy a T-shirt or a backpack,
Right. That's what you were saying.
or something,
Yeah. And then you get a free gift with your order.
right.
you get a free gift with your $40 Hanes t-shirt.
Nice.
Exactly.
I want
Or
a
your tote bag.
I need a $60 pair of socks.
Right.
Absolutely.
New
New backpack
Yeah.
has a gift in it.
Right. Nice.
Shoot it out of a t-shirt cannon.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Hey, what I
Did you
wanna
guys
know
ever
is-
watch that show China, Illinois?
No.
It was an adult swim show about 3 years ago.
No.
It's fucking
I missed
amazing.
it.
I'll have to
It's
check
on
it out.
Hulu. Yeah.
Nice. No, we were watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force today, though.
Oh,
Nice.
that's that shit.
Oh,
Declan asked for it.
Squidbillies
He
is
said-
good too.
He said, "I want that show where the snacks are alive."
Meatballs the shit, dude.
Meatwad.
Meatwad.
Or meatwad. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about? Jesus Christ! All right. The one
Meatwad
night-
gets the money. See,
Yeah.
Meatwad makes get the honeys. Jeez.
See, I'm having one of these
That's it.
again. If you can see.
Narwhal. Nice.
Yeah, buddy.
Sierra
It's like
Nevada?
10.2%. Yeah, it's 10.2% per bottle.
Strong stouts.
Their brewery serves up a really good steak.
Mm.
I've never been there.
That's because it's in Chico, California, about
Yeah, I
120
was going to
miles
say.
north of
I would
me.
imagine because Sierra Nevada, obviously.
Right.
I always wanted to visit Yosemite.
It's totally not in the Sierra Nevadas, and it's like 7 hours from Yosemite.
Oh no shit! Wow.
Yeah, Sierra Nevada Brewery.
Well, I mean, the Sierra.
It's in Chico, California. It's in the north part of the Sacramento Valley.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I mean the Sierra Nevada mountain range goes all the way from Central
No.
California all the way up to the
Uh-uh.
Vancouver, right?
No, it's not the Sierra Nevadas. Once it crosses the
Oh, the
Oregon fucking
Cascades.
border,
Cascades.
it's the Cascades.
Yeah. Sorry.
Californians got it twisted, god damn it. It's the Cascades.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an East Coaster. What the fuck, man? I live by the Catskill Mountains, like the oldest fucking mountain range around and shit.
Yeah, but aren't
These
you guys,
damn
you guys don't even,
Oregonians.
but aren't the Catskills only like 8,000 feet or something like that?
Nah, there
They're
ain't
not
nothing
like
above
that-
like
like, they're not, like,
4,000
crazy
feet
high.
on the East Coast.
But they're
Yeah.
more rounded than like West Coast mountains because they're like they're older mountains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
'cause-
they're,
No, I know.
Like a lot
Like
older.
we went camping. We went camping at Shenandoah in the Appalachians.
yeah.
And I was like, wait, like we're near the top of the fucking mountain.
Appalachian,
What the hell?
excuse me.
Right. I was like, what the hell? These aren't mountains. We put vineyards on these where I come from.
Yeah, because
Well, no, like the mountains
Lake
here, like they're
Tahoe-
pretty fucking big, but they're like rounded. You know what I mean? It's like the elevation's pretty
They're all
fucking high
worn
once you get
down
up
and
into them.
nubby.
We grow corn liquor in them hills.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 'cause I know Lake Alpine's like 500, and I know the mountains around there are 11,000, and then I know Lake
Yeah,
Tahoe's
ours is
Lake
nowhere
Tahoe's
near
at
that.
Lake Tahoe's at like 6,200.
Yeah, the highest
Yeah.
point on the
That's
East
mad
Coast
high.
is like 4,200 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's sad. Those are
Yeah.
yeah, but there's like some
my
really
Mount Di-
awesome
my Mount
hiking trails
Diablo,
and whatnot.
my Mount Diablo is 3,800.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
Mount-
Yeah,
I grew up
most
skiing
of the
on
East
Mount
Coast
Hood.
is between 2 and
Right.
300 feet above sea level.
I grew up skiing on Mount Hood. All right. That's like
Uh-huh.
one of the
Which
tallest
has
peaks on the northern continent.
snow on it all year round.
Yes, it does. Yep.
Even in the middle of summer, they'll still have snow on it.
Yep.
What does?
Yeah. The
Mount Hood?
Olympic,
Mount Hood.
Oh yeah,
like the
yeah,
Olympic snowboarding team will practice there in the
summer,
summertime. Yeah. So,
Red Bull does a half pipe up there every year for summer during the summer,
Yeah.
and then
Nice.
Yeah. It's crazy
Yeah,
because
Mount Hood.
you come just a little bit down the mountain and they have like these canal luge things, which it's like when the snow is gone lower down on the mountain, it's like you get in a little cart and it's in like this little like concrete channel and they send you like zipping down the mountain in it.
a
Yeah.
flu.
Something like that. Yeah. That's at like Meadows, which is one of the lower ski areas that you can be at. So like Meadows doesn't always have snow, but Timberline Lodge always has snow. Always.
How high is Timberline Lodge?
I don't know off the top of my head. Look it up, Anarcho Daddy.
yeah.
I'm on it.
Yeah, but like, see, like around here, the mountains.
Use
are
your
known for,
Google
like,
foo.
like where I live is like it's known for like the Thomas Cole House and all that shit. Like where like all the artists that like were in colonial America at the time. It was like one of the biggest like areas in terms of like painting and poetry and all that shit. It's like very like artistic
Yeah, right.
foundation in terms of the region.
Yeah.
That and it's like, you know, Revolutionary War history around here too,
Yep.
which is fucking crazy.
We have some of that. Oh, guess we have a lot of Civil War history here.
I was getting ready to say this
Yeah,
is a Civil
sure,
War
sure.
country, unfortunately.
Listen to this
Yeah.
shit.
That's all you
So I
fucking
I
hear
just
about.
found out that
Columbus
our
landed,
house,
the Civil War happened,
right.
JFK was shot. Ronald Reagan was president.
Right.
That's how history goes in the Mid-Atlantic.
Well, I just found out that our house is on a historical tour.
Yeah.
Timberline Lodge is at 5,900, 5,960.
Right, right. But the mountain goes much higher than that. That's just
Oh yeah,
like where the timber stops. But
Yeah.
um
Hence
so
the timberline.
right, exactly. So it turns out that our property used to have a driveway running across it to this old historical farm called the
Yeah.
Claydale Farm. And John Wilkes Booth, after he shot Lincoln, once he crossed the Potomac, he came to the Claydale Farm looking for shelter. And
Oh,
so
and
he
that's where
walked
he
right
hid out in the
across,
barn?
or he rode right across our yard to go to this
Uh-huh.
house looking for shelter, and they turned him away. So he went to this little shack that's down the road from our house, and kicked out the indentured servants that were there and stayed the night. And then he continued
That's
south,
racist.
and they caught up with him and killed him, of course, like, 20 minutes down the road. But
Allegedly.
yeah,
Allegedly.
allegedly. But yeah, so little piece of history that I just found out about our property.
Yeah,
Kind of.
no relation, by the way.
John Wilkes.
Oh yeah, you.
Jason Booth.
Dude, I
Yeah.
remember I did a fucking like a report or whatever for like fourth grade because we had to like pick somebody, like we had to read autobiography or whatever,
Yeah.
or a biography of someone, and we had to do a report on it and like kind of like draw a picture or whatever. So my mom, like being the artistic one that she was, she like drew like a poster of like John Wilkes Booth standing behind Lincoln with a pistol.
Nice.
And I did like a
Nice.
report on John Wilkes Booth or whatever, and fucking like the teacher was like, yeah, I don't know if we can like post this up, because like it's like fourth graders and shit.
Because it shows violence. So did I get my history right? Since you did the report on it, did I get my history right?
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
happened
Because
with him?
I was wondering, I was like, I know that like he hid out in a barn and then he took off later and then they killed him or whatever, so the story goes.
Allegedly.
Right.
And like,
Well,
I don't
he
know.
stayed with the Mudd
I found out later
family.
on.
He stayed with the Mudd family in Maryland the night that it actually happened, and then he crossed the Potomac into Virginia, and that's when the next night, because he had a broken ankle the whole time. He broke his
Yeah, because when
ankle
he leaped off
jumped
the
over the
balcony. Yeah.
Right, so he wasn't getting very far each day. So after he crossed the Potomac, he came right here, and we're not that far. Mark knows we're just like almost right on the Potomac. We're not far at all, and so he came to this farm right through our yard. So that's where he was going to stay
crazy.
tonight. Yeah. I know.
Now, did you guys know that he was like part of a fucking secret society called the Knights of the Golden Circle?
No, he said secret society, and that fucking scene from Zoolander came up in my head about the male model, about how he was a male model. Sorry. Do you remember that? Or he's basically
I'm so glad
doing
you're not
Bruce-
normal.
I know. I'm sorry. But
No normies allowed.
So funny. No normies allowed.
Yeah.
That's right. So, all right.
No.
Next. What's our next story?
All
I
right.
think we've
was gonna
wrung
say-
all we can out of this topic.
I was going to say, speaking of normies,
Right.
Governor Jim Justice of West Virginia.
Jim Justice.
West Virginia calls in
Really, that's the guy's
National
name?
Guard. West Virginia
Yeah,
calls it
there's a lot of justices in West Virginia.
to tackle opioid
Oh.
crisis.
Right. The National Guard. So, like, they're not content to wage, like, what am I trying to say? They're not content to just, like, wage a war on drugs, like, on paper and just call it that. They're actually bringing in the actual fucking army to fight drugs now.
Yeah. And what's funny? If okay, when the National Guard is in Afghanistan guarding opium fields, fields, right? They're the army, right? They're part of the military. They're the army, right? Domestically, when they get called out, they're not part of the army. They're the National Guard, which means it's not a violation of the Posse Comitatus.
Right. Now, wait. So we have National Guard guarding opium and National Guard trying to kill it because it's a war, right?
Full circle, Derica. Full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
So,
Full
are we
spectrum
gonna see,
dominance.
like, are we
You're
gonna
using
see
the wrong
infighting
finger
here?
mark. You're using the wrong finger mark.
Yeah, that's
a
it.
circle.
Or is it?
There you go.
It's this right here.
That's
Right
it.
here.
It's the shocker, yeah.
Or if you're really
Or you
excited.
can give her the.
If she's really good, you give her the Vulcan.
The Vulcanator. Or the
Yeah.
minivan,
Yeah.
5 in the rear and 2 in the front.
Live long.
I was gonna say it's rough on the old carpal tunnels.
Oh, that might be our first. That might be our first fisting reference.
Glad I could be in service.
There was a certain conversation about that the other night.
You know, Dan, a Suburban holds 9.
I think I broke
7 in the rear, 2 in front.
I just go for the 18-wheeler.
Hey, my man.
The commuter van. The commuter van's holding 11.
I only got so many digits on my hands, bro.
Yeah, but you got. If you use both hands, Mark, they total 11. If you get what I'm saying.
In search of the man with the 6-fingered hand.
Oh my God.
U.S. Marshals, the man with 1 arm. We're looking for the man with 3.
Oh, shit.
That guy did kill Ignacio Montoya's dad, though.
Oh my God.
Goose Fraba. Oh, shit.
Oh my God, my stomach hurts.
It's hot in here.
Seriously.
Oh, you guys are the best.
Jesus, you guys.
I think
Oh my God.
Dierka wants a minivan now.
I
She
don't
just
need
cruises
it
around in her
because-
hot rod Lincoln.
I don't need it because my Navigator fits 5 in the back and cargo.
Ooh. Is that saying you got junk in the trunk?
Well, I can either have 5 in the back and cargo or 5 in the back and 2 dogs. So,
Ooh,
you know.
hey, whatever you're into. Whatever you're into.
Yeah, now we're getting in a no-go zone.
You have violated YouTube's community standards.
You have officially touched the 3rd
Mission
rail.
accomplished.
Kevin,
Oh my God,
Kevin,
if we-
That's what she said, Dan. She touched the 3rd rail.
Kevin's looking at the credit card statement going, where the fuck did all this peanut butter go?
Fluffy called. Said bring peanut butter.
Creamy or chunky?
Nutella. It's Nutella.
Oh, man.
Chunks was my dog, man. Chunks was my dog.
Oh, God. Oh,
Dan knows.
I'm sorry. I
This is
should have
beyond
just let it
fucked up,
die.
man.
I should have just let it die. I'm sorry.
Your cheeks are starting to match your sweater there, dude. Yeah.
I know. It's just because I'm laughing so damn hard. I've got like.
This is why we should never be allowed together in the same fucking like 50-yard vicinity.
You guys are gonna give Mark a stroke.
Jesus Christ.
For God's sakes, don't cross the streams.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Whew.
All right.
All right, we have to stop. We have to stop so I can breathe. Sorry, guys.
For real. For real.
Not the first time you've said that.
Oh God.
Oh man. Does it ever stop?
All right.
No, it
I
never
know.
stops.
You guys want to hear something not funny? It'll make everybody feel sorry for me.
Wow.
Yeah, we just bought this house 2 months ago, and we have to put a whole new HVAC system in it tomorrow.
What?
Yeah,
That fucking sucks, dude.
$14,000.
Wow.
Holy shit.
That's like
Yeah.
9 levels of fuck that.
I know, and we
Yeah,
even
for
have
real.
a warranty. But here's the thing: the warranty company won't cover it. So,
What?
Because we'll repair your system so that it's functional. Oh, but by the way, we're only going to pay $10 a pound for the first 10 pounds of your refrigerant that has to be put back in there after it's repaired, or the new refrigerant that has to be put in. Oh yeah, and you need 15 pounds of it, and it's $180 a pound. So you can fork
Oh, see,
out
that's
$1,400
bullshit.
cash.
That is bullshit.
Yeah.
Even if that's an R22 system, they can run
It is
MO99 in it.
Yeah,
But
it
they
is
can back
R22.
that out and run MO99 at like $29 a pound.
I know, but they don't. They wouldn't like retrofit it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Because they know they can get you for $128 a pound.
Well, yeah, of course,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah, no shit. So it was either fork out $1,400 in cash, or like finance the new system through the HVAC company and just have a whole new system put in. I was like, fuck. and then run the risk of it springing another fucking refrigerant leak this summer, because it's like,
Yeah, right.
the air handler is original. They didn't switch that out when they got the new compressor, and the compressor itself is 13 years old. So it's just, you know,
It's just at 13 years old, it's got to be changed.
yeah.
Nah.
And the air it can still be fixed. I mean, like, you can keep
Ride or
fixing
die,
it,
bitches.
but each
That's
time
it.
you have to keep putting refrigerant
I work on
in it,
30-year-old
which is-
shit every day.
Yeah. But it's mismatched, is what I'm saying. Like, the
Yeah,
air
right.
handler is original, and it's like the air handler's
Like-
from 1999.
Yeah, like
You
if you're
know?
gonna deal with it, you might as well just get the whole fucking new shit and not have to worry about it again.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Which sucks, but
yeah. So that's
All
not
right,
funny.
so goes life.
Buzzkill.
Ah.
Before we got derailed by Dan's minivan comment,
Hey, man.
West Virginia calls in National Guard to tackle opioid crisis.
Jesus.
In Huntington, West Virginia, the Guard has been called in to tackle the opioid crisis, which the government has described as a disaster. Quote, we have to
That
stop.
kind of describes all of Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Quote, we have to stop this terrible drug epidemic. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice said, quote, we have to. If we don't, it will cannibalize us. Huntington has been called the overdose capital of America, with double the national average of overdoses due in part to the decline of the coal industry, a lack of jobs, the easy availability of the drugs, and law enforcement is stretched thin.
Okay,
Quote-
so what I'm hearing is the problems that are causing the opioid crisis are government, and government, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Just
Well,
making
the
sure
other
we all have
problem with
straight.
that is the rise of healthcare providers and their
Yes.
free distribution of
Yeah,
opiates.
yeah.
Yeah.
Analgesics.
They're
With
definitely
their
overprescribed.
little
Fentanyl is definitely a
loosey-goosey
prized.
prescription pads and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Well, I've been-
preferred to heroin by most
Well, I've been
users.
hearing that a lot of the batches that, like, whatever, you call them a hot batch or whatever in the drug world, but like, they've been mixing fentanyl with like regular, heroin or whatever. I
Yeah,
guess
and
you would
people are
say.
ODing on it because they're using
Yeah,
like
exactly.
their normal amount of heroin, but fentanyl fucking kills in that dosage, like
Yeah, exactly.
instantly.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like way more powerful,
yeah, yeah.
which is kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
the difference
because,
is
why,
like,
why,
heroin,
I don't
is
understand.
dosed in like milligrams, whereas fentanyl is dosed in micrograms.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's like probably the most powerful painkiller on the face of the earth.
And we're probably not talking about people who paid too much too careful of attention in science class
Yeah.
or math class.
Much smaller doses.
Right, to understand the difference between milligrams and micrograms.
Move the decimal point one.
Just look at your average tweaker who can cook meth and
I gotta bring something else up, you guys. This is the city of Huntington last year, January 20th of last year. They sued drug wholesalers over the opioid epidemic. Let's see. According to West Virginia record, the drug wholesalers shipped 423 million pain pills into West Virginia between 2007 and 2012 and earned 17 billion in net income.
Jesus, how many people does West Virginia even have?
Not.
No.
Well, dude, they say that like a dude like shaking his bottle of pills is called like the fucking redneck mating call in West Virginia.
Oh, for sure,
The
absolutely.
Redneck maracas.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Yeah.
Bitches come running for the moxies. Coming out of the fucking trees and shit. Like, what you got, nigga?
Come on, Ma, we gotta go into town. It's check day, and I get my refill on my oxys.
Here you go. In the last 6 years, 1,728 West Virginians have overdosed on hydrocodone and oxydone pills. The unregulated shipments amount to 433 pain pills for every man, woman, and child in the state of Virginia.
West Virginia, right?
West Virginia. And that was last year. Those were last year's numbers.
Jeez, if any
crazy.
one person has taken that many pain pills in a year, they got a
In
real
a
fucking
single year?
problem.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the figures again?
Like
in
433 pills for every man, woman, and child
woman and child. Yeah.
in West Virginia.
Per month?
Per year, like
it's-
433
or
pills
no.
a year.
No, in the last 6 years, 1,728 West Virginians had fatally overdosed on hydrocodone and oxydone pills. The
So what? There's
unregulated,
500,000 people in West Virginia. Well, probably more
Something
than
like
that.
that, yeah.
Probably million.
the unregulated shipments amount to
A million.
433 pain pills for every man, woman, and child in the state of West Virginia.
That's
Jesus.
crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, they need Jesus.
and you know that those people
They got Jesus and pain
Yeah,
pills.
they
You see
got
how that
Jesus in
fucking
West
shit is working
Virginia.
out for them.
and
Yeah.
due
That's
to
when
the
you
lack,
get bit by
due
the
to the lack
snake,
of
or
jobs, yeah, and
a little
as
too
a
much
Jew-
strychnine.
due
Some
to
shit,
the
dude.
due
Jesus
to the
Christ.
availability of the drugs, and due to the lack of jobs and all this other stuff, you know this
Yeah.
again. This is coming from the taxpayers on the taxpayer dime, right? This is
Well,
this is
you got to
No,
think
I think
about
like
it from the
70% of West
standpoint, right?
Virginians don't pay taxes.
yeah.
Yeah.
something
But
like that.
Think
No,
about
it's
this,
an
right? Like they
incredibly
did
high
that.
amount.
Like I don't know if you guys ever heard about that. Like they did that whole like rat study about how they like gave the rat in a cage like one bottle that
Oh,
just
yeah.
had regular water and one bottle had water and cocaine, and the rat
Right.
preferred the bottle with the cocaine in it because of its living
Oh, yeah.
conditions, right?
Because
No.
it was isolated. Yeah,
Well,
but
that's
they
exactly
put the rat
it.
in like
Yeah, and
with
a
a whole
different,
bunch of
totally
others
different living
and-
conditions. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. You get that cheese
it
extra
didn't-
fast.
Yeah, but I mean, like it had other like female rats to like sleep around with and shit, like to occupy its time. So it was like fuck the drugs, like
it was in an enrichment
That's how he
environment,
got
and
all
it
the
wasn't
extra
Exactly.
extra the rats. It's
Right.
like, hey, baby, bring
So
that tail over
you
here.
have-
I got the booger
You have a
shit.
bunch of hopeless people.
You create the
You have a
environment
bunch of
for a bad
hopeless people
situation.
because exactly.
Well,
Well, it
In a
was
state- in a
Obama and
state
his
where-
administration that shut down the coal industry, basically, right?
in a state where cannabis
So-
is still illegal, also.
Thanks, Obama.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
And raw
No,
milk.
this one actually.
And I'm
is
sure a
thanks
lot of
Obama,
West
though.
Virginians would smoke a lot of weed too.
West Virginians grow a lot of weed.
Well, I'm sure they do because they're all in the mountains and like they really like the feds don't really fuck with them. I wouldn't
Back in
imagine.
the
It's
hollers.
very, like,
I
rural.
mean, yeah.
Well, they do, but
They're
they're
pretty
not
isolated.
as organized as like Northern California. That's the problem.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
distribution is
Yeah.
like local. And when I say local, I mean the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
right.
Well, the
Probably where I
the
get mine
golden
from.
or not, The Emerald
Probably.
Triangle, like up in Northern California, has had more time, like I think, to develop and like kind of organize.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
and we
all
all
them
know that-
goddamn
we all know that-
revenuers blew up all the stills.
Oregon's been organizing that shit for decades.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy because like New York is missing out big time because they say Greene County is like one of the top fucking counties in terms of like the whole entire nation in terms of like growing conditions. So like I don't know why the
Right.
fuck they're not like reaping the benefits of it, but
Yeah, well, because it's
I mean,
the devil's lettuce.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I
jazz
want to see
cabbage.
decriminalization, but you know,
Well, yeah, you
Whatever.
can't have people smoking pot. They'll start listening to jazz music and raping white women and dancing all
Right.
crazy and
Dancing with colored folks. Yeah.
well, I do all that, but I respect white women real hard.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Show them your commuter
Beta
bus.
cock. Beta cock. Beta cock. It's not gonna get you laid by feminists.
No, dude, did you see that article that I posted? Probably not on
Yeah,
Twitter
about
about
how-
how the chick was like, I love
was
beta
an op-ed
males
on,
or
like,
something like that.
on
Yeah.
like an op-ed on HuffPo or something that said something like, "There's nothing sexier than a good beta male."
Ew.
I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and she's gonna be cheating on him with some fucking dude that's gonna be laying the pipe right.
Right.
Uh,
Some guy riding a Harley.
fucking
with no
terrible.
job and
Well, it's the
10
reality
kids.
of it.
well,
Yeah.
well, you know what Jeff Sessions?
Probably has a fantastic beard too.
You know what Jeff Sessions' answers to this opiate crisis is, right?
What? Crack
Yeah,
down
ban marijuana.
harder?
Take an asprin.
Take
Taking
some,
it-
yeah,
take
yeah,
some
that is what he
aspirin.
said too.
Take
Yep.
some aspirin and tough it out.
Yeah.
How about stop treating it like a fucking criminal justice issue and treat it as a mental health issue?
Yeah. Or how about just stay the fuck out of it because it's not your business. And the reason that people,
Somebody needs to
people's
sneak
lives
a dose
are
of
ruined by
Cybacillin
this.
into that man.
right? No
Yeah,
shit.
for real, dude.
Drugs don't fucking ruin your life.
I
Drugs
found
being
this tea in my
illegal,
grandson's sock drawer.
being treated like a criminal for doing drugs, that's what ruins people's lives.
White House chef, next time they make something with mushrooms in it, needs to sneak in some.
Yeah, some psilocybin.
Times-
Hell yeah. Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
Foreign policy would change real quick.
Hell
Or
yeah.
he'd have a Vietnam flashback.
They'd be like,
and
nah,
stab
man, we
Trump.
can't bomb those guys. That's just not moral.
Oh,
Crisis of fucking conscience and shit.
Kick back and he'd be like, you know who was cool?
They'd have to have a conscience
Biden.
first, Dan.
This is true. Yeah, fucking solid point.
That's what we need to do. We need to get Jeff Sessions and Joe Biden high and put them in the same room and let them have a conversation.
Well, Joe would be too busy trying to molest little girls, but that's besides the point.
Oh, Shotgun Joe.
Fucking creepy Uncle Joe.
Creepy Uncle Joe.
He made for
Not
some of the
not
best
the
memes.
same. Not the same
He
as Creepy
did.
Uncle Slinky. Creepy Uncle
No,
Slinky's
no.
a
bad
good
touch,
guy.
Uncle Slinky. That's bad touch.
Bad
Uncle
touch,
Slinky.
Uncle Slinky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are just allegations, okay?
Oh, Dan, you wouldn't have
He's
seen it because
alleged
you
to
were
have
off.
done those things.
Let's just say Joe loves pizza. Bastard.
Dan, you were already
Yeah,
kicked
right.
off of Facebook, but when we were driving home
No, you
from
guys sent
Missouri
me-
from picking up the puppies, did I send you a picture?
Yeah, you sent me
I
a
was gonna say-
picture of you guys with Slink.
Yeah,
And
I
I
was
was
gonna
like,
say we
sweet.
stopped at Slicky's. That's right. That's right. I did. I think I texted it to you or something, or Telegram, maybe.
Yeah, I believe
Telegram,
it was
I
through
think.
Telegram.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do, Dan, is drop some of these epic Twitter battles on Telegram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should. It's just hilarious, dude.
I need to get on there more often, come back you up or something. But I'm just.
Oh no, you know
I'm
me. I
really
don't. I don't require backup. People who require backup against me.
Yeah, I
It goes
know.
the other way.
Right.
Dan's
Better bring
already
a whole
got
fucking
back.
army.
Back it
Dan's
up, girl.
already-
Back it up.
Dan's
Back
already
that
got
thing
himself a
up.
pretty good following on Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, dude, how the fuck do I almost have like 650 followers in like a month?
Nice.
Wow. We've almost got 100 subscribers on this channel.
Everybody
Nice.
loves the asshole,
Well, yeah, I
Dan.
put the word out. So.
Everybody loves the asshole. You talk enough shit, you'll get a lot of followers.
I do what I do, man. I just speak my mind, and then people just come to it. Like, you know, I mean,
nice.
He's got
like-minded individuals kind of
he's
like
got Ben
congregate
Stone
together.
sharing some of his stuff, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which is like, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, Ben's a good dude. I like him.
I'm gonna go have a smoke. I'll take you guys for a walk with me.
He's like one
Oh,
of
for
the
a walk.
he's on the same level, like in terms of like his way of thinking, in terms of you know what I mean. It's not like really about sides and fucking, you know.
It's one of the reasons that I was drawn to him, and to his
Yeah.
book a lot. And if you ever get the opportunity to actually talk to the guy, don't pass on it.
Right. I
That
talked
is
with
cool.
him for a couple minutes at Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest. But,
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that episode of LUA with him and Shane.
mhm.
And that was so
Well,
much
like
fun.
I was saying to him earlier today, like, you know, I was like, because he was making a point about, you know, like con men within the fucking liberty movement and whatnot that try to, like, you know, take the reins and like lead it in a certain direction. And I was like, well, anybody that tries to like lead, you should be suspect of, and like, you know, be like, okay, well, where the fuck do you plan on leading us?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like this whole thing isn't about leading anybody; it's about leading yourself.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
because most people, as you know, I've talked about this.
It's about empowering individuals to lead their own fucking life.
I've talked with Ben about that before, and most libertarians and anarchists aren't what I would call libertarians or anarchists. They only learn enough to become anti-government or anti-government party, and not enough.
What the problem is we just have to get back to the Constitution.
Yeah, that'll really fix things.
Because some great men wrote that.
Yeah.
I dropped some knowledge on a constitutionalist that started following me on Twitter, and like, dude actually agreed with me. I was surprised. I was like, wow. Like, I started dropping like Spooner quotes on him and about the Constitution and shit, and dude was like agreeing with me.
Nice.
I was like, sweet.
Yeah, the problem is
because I'm non-confrontational about my like information. Like, I just present shit to people, and I'm like, here you go. You know, take it as whatever the fuck you want to take it as. I'm not going to try and tell you how to think about things. Like, it's just here. You know.
Yeah. I try to not be confrontational, but when people start calling me a naive idiot, I get a little confrontational.
No, absolutely.
So,
well, I would imagine that, like, I don't know, to be a female in the anarchist community was like, you know, is a little bit different than being a male, because it's like, I would say it's more male dominated than female. You know what I mean? There's not really so much
there's
of
a lot of thirsty bros
out
out here in this community.
Yeah, and there really is. But like at the same time, a lot of them are dicks, and they just try to discredit what like females have to like say. And like a lot of the females that I deal with within the anarchist community are really fucking logical, like smart individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
I know a few that are like some of my favorite. Yeah, and then, but the thing that gets me is the way that male statists treat me. They're so fucking patronizing. They think that I could only hold my views because I'm a naive little girl and I don't understand big boy games like politics. You know?
Yep. It's like, no, I understand your games, and I fucking decide to opt out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you fucking play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Your game is bullshit. It's fucking rigged, and I refuse to play.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yep. They call you a naive.
There's nothing to do with whether you got a fucking
still
penis or a vagina
to protect them.
Right? Yeah.
See, I prefer to play with myself.
Yeah. You think I don't understand big boy games, but I'm the one who's ready to go without big bad government taking care of me. Yeah. I'm the one who's not going to call the cops to get you to leave me alone. I'm just going to fucking shoot you. Exactly. You know, I mean, I take care of myself. I'm not the child here.
Yep. I call it. I am a firm believer in ardent self-defense.
Yep.
Well, I posted about that earlier about how like a lot of people aren't nuanced enough to like think that there are actually people out there that think for themselves and like kind of form their own philosophy around the things that they hold true to believe themselves.
Right. So
'Cause
many
that's
people
kinda
are
how
caught
I've
up.
we
always
hold to
been.
be self-evident.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So many
well, no,
people
I
are
mean,
caught
like
up in
I've read
the.
things like Nietzsche, I've read Stirner, I've read a lot of different perspectives on philosophy and like anarchism and all that, and like
Hey,
it's like
I'll be back, guys.
All right, Mark.
Right.
I've personally taken things that like I hold to be true to myself as my own philosophy and develop my
Right.
own philosophy out of that. Like I don't like say, okay, well, this is what I'm attaching myself to.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that I ever believe in, and this anything outside of this, fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? They're a heretic, they're a witch. Burn them at the stake. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's like the mentality that people get when like I try and tell people like don't become too dogmatic in your thinking when you like side with one camp over the other or whatever.
Right.
Like I'll even
Or
try and hear
even
communists
in.
out, even if they're fucking illogical. But at the same
Right.
time, it's like I'll try and like be like, okay, well, check this out. Your system doesn't work because of this and this and this.
What makes me crazy is when people are dogmatic about even identifying camps or labeling camps. That makes me fucking
Well, yeah.
crazy, because they're
Yeah.
like, oh well, if you're not with me, you're against me. That's not how it fucking
Yeah.
works. Look,
Well-
there are more than 2 or 3 or a handful of fucking options. Like people can't see outside of this. It's just like Declan thinks he dresses himself. He thinks he picks his own clothes. I give him like 3 options.
Yeah.
And I don't even tell him I'm giving him 3 options. I just leave 3
Back.
sets of clothes out where he can see them. And he'll decide to pick one of those and put it on. He doesn't realize he has like 30 times more clothes than that.
Yeah, but you just
You know?
set out a pre-programmed selection for him.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
that's the other issue too. Is you guys keep using this word think.
Right.
Well, most
They
people don't think, right? Most
Yeah.
people don't think for themselves. They learn enough and read enough to become anti-two party or anti-government
Parrots.
and,
It's
and
just
then that,
parrot.
and then that's where they stop, right? They trade
Yeah.
parties for great men or for socioeconomic ideologies, right? So they trade the libertarian, they trade the democratic
Fucking Hoppians.
or
Yeah,
they
right.
trade the conservative party for anarcho-capitalism, and that's where they stop.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's not
Right.
anarchy. That's not. And then they sit there and they start arguing over capitalism versus communism. Right? They're collectivizing anarchy.
Right.
When
Exactly.
they do
And
that.
what
And
it looks like
that's-
to me
that's-
is that these are people
Like,
with very
honestly,
little
I would prefer-
imagination, because sorry, Dan, give me 1 second. What they're doing is they're looking for, they are the kind of people who believe that everything that can be thought of already has. So they're looking for that preset little slot to fit themselves in, right? And they don't realize.
They're looking for a 10-step program that says this is how you to be free. Like,
Exactly.
This
exactly.
is the only way to
Yeah.
be free. A 10-step guide, which is bullshit
Right.
because it doesn't exist. Because we are all individuals, we all have our own ideas of freedom. What I
Right.
believe
Right.
is freedom. What I want to do is not the same as what you guys want to do.
Exactly. And they've
At the same
detached
time-
themselves from the big host, but they're looking for a new host. You know,
Well, yeah,
they're
that's
not
the whole
looking.
thing.
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah.
said that about like people that like stay theists, you know what I mean? Like the people that give up on fucking like, religion, but they make the state their fucking religion.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Same as anarchists that like are like just converts to it
Mhm.
because they've learned just enough to make that like, cross over the threshold into, okay, maybe I don't want government ruling over my
Yeah.
life, right?
But
And
you have to
couldn't-
be a
And
capitalist.
they don't
Yeah, but you have
Right.
to be a capitalist.
Right.
Right? Or
like you
have to be
can't
a
like
communist.
allow for like diversity of systems to operate simultaneously. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's like, okay, so what if these people decide to do this thing as long as they're not harming anyone? What if these people decide to do this thing as long as they're not harming anyone? Whatever, you know
Right.
what I mean? It's like as long as fucking people are voluntarily deciding to collectivize or stay on their own as an individualist or whatever the fuck they decide to do, as long as they're not harming anyone, I don't see the issue with it.
Right. And
Yep.
like I couldn't do that. Once I finally pulled away from statism and I saw the beginnings of anarchist philosophy and stuff, thanks to Jason, mostly the Wolf in the Sheeple's World page. Once I got started on that path, I couldn't stop. I couldn't just be like, oh no, this is where I stop. No, once I got thinking, I couldn't stop thinking. But so to me, it's almost incomprehensible that people just stop there and like never break all the way through. You know what I mean? Like, or there isn't even an all the way through. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. They think they've broken all the way through without realizing there is no all the way through. You have to keep moving your whole life. You have to keep thinking, and you have to keep deepening your understanding of what it means.
See, now,
you know,
the way I look at it is, and I completely agree with you, is that the way I see it is that there is room for individualism and there's room for collectivism if people decide to do that voluntarily. If they decide to band together with other people out of their own, like, you know, self-interest for mutual protection or whatever, private property, right? Now, I don't see any problem with that. Now, some people shun that as collectivism outright. You know what I mean? And I say, well, okay, well, as long as it's voluntary and it's not forced, then I don't see a fucking problem with it. You know what I mean? As long as people can opt out of that group, then there
I'm going to be a rich land baron, and my slaves who voluntarily committed to their slavery are going to work my plantation.
What happens?
Because I didn't know the difference between a turnip and a radish.
Yeah, but what happens when you have a group of fucking Sternerites that are like, you know, violent-based fucking, you know, might makes right kind of people? And then your rights don't mean anything to me as long as you can enforce them against me, kind of thing. That whole mentality. Like, what are you gonna do when you fucking come up against people like that as an individual? You know what I mean? You can't exactly just stay on your own and like, you know, be like, okay, I'm gonna fight all these fucking people off. It's like at some point you're gonna have to, because we're social animals.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a balance of kind of fighting between nature and maintaining your individuality, and also like being one with the fact that we are kind of collective animals.
Right. Well, social.
Well, but that's not collectivism.
Yeah,
I mean,
to me,
you know,
collectivism implies force. You know, like the way that I understand the term implies that it's not entirely voluntary. You know. Collectivism, anything that's like kind of it to me, the term implies that it's imposed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
well, see, I discussed this idea with Ben, because I was like, how do you feel about the whole, like, you know, Iroquois Confederacy, which was like kind of the foundation for the, you know, the drafting of the Constitution, or essentially the Bill of Rights, is kind of where they got the idea for the Bill of Rights, was from the Iroquois Constitution. And I was like, you know, people voluntarily decided to form their own nation, so to speak. And you could opt out of that collective, you know, whatever. And you're not forced to be a drone of the state. And there is like no state to speak of, you know what I mean? Like, you just protect a certain amount of territory.
A mutual assistance agreements.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those kind of things. It's not like, you know, you form like, okay, well, this is the state, here's the central fucking government. Like, you know, we're gonna make the rules for everybody. It applies to everybody equally, and fucking, you know.
My only question about that stuff is like, the next generation, the ones who were born there and never had a chance, you know, to consent or not, if they're born in that territory, do they have to leave if they don't want to be part of it?
Well, I think that's where rites of passage would come into play. Once they reach a certain age, then they get to decide whether they want to stay within that, or they can, you know, leave. They have the option,
right?
You know, because that's kind of how
it's not
like, it always used to be run.
Like, the Amish have that same sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's not all that voluntary. Well, I mean, it is. Like, you can conform or die.
Here's my thing. It's like people saying, if you don't like America, then leave. Oh, you don't like the way that our system runs, then leave. Well, this is my fucking home. I was born here. Why should I have to leave if I want to not be part of your system? You know?
No. I
so
completely
to me,
agree.
that's where
not
it becomes
what I'm saying,
involuntary.
though. It's like, it's one of those things, like, you know, you kind of like, Like ever since fucking ancient times, humans have always kind of gone through a rite of passage at a certain age to like, confirm
Right.
that they've moved into adulthood and they can decide
Right.
for themselves what they want to do with their life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, you're no longer under the guardianship of your parents. You know what I mean? You have the ability to make decisions for yourself. So it's really voluntarily up to you whether you want to just stay within that, tribe that you were born into or whatever, or leave that and be individualist or whatever.
But you're not really being an individualist. You're kind of getting kicked out into the wild.
Well, right. I would argue.
Not necessarily, because you could join another collective that suits your views on things, or whatever the
Wait, are we still talking about Indians, or are we talking about?
No, I'm saying like if you were to like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you were to apply that model to,
yeah, but that model wasn't quite like that. I mean, in theory, it is, but it wasn't. It's like being kicked out of the pack.
Right. Well,
no, but I mean, like, what do you do when
welcome back?
Right.
Yeah, but like, what do you do in a situation
or be welcome into another group?
Like in a stateless society, I think that it would obviously, like my ideal situation would be that everything would be free market based, and you wouldn't have to be worrying about it being kicked out of a fucking tribe or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it would just be that the services that you want, you pay for. The services you don't want, you don't pay for.
Right. And you develop and maintain good relationships with your neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
or
like,
not.
And just because like things are based in a capitalistic aspect of, free market, laissez-faire capitalism, doesn't mean that you can't cooperate with your fucking neighbor and communally help out other people. You know what I mean? It's like people think like it's only like one level of thinking like, oh yeah, it's just like we're looking for fucking money and like we're not looking to help anybody else.
Right.
Seize lands that aren't being actively developed and
Right. So what you're saying then is people just look at it too one-dimensionally. They're not.
Oh yeah, well with like in terms of free market, you know what I mean? Like, because ideally, like my preference is for a free market to operate and allow for different systems to cohabitate essentially and interact with each other if they decide to.
Right.
And everything's done non-coercively through the marketplace, right? Because everybody kind of, there's like a mutual benefit in terms of, trade, which is capitalism, period.
Yeah. And the market doesn't have to be based. You don't have to use currency to participate in the market. You can barter, you can
work for trade or whatever.
Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the options that would be open to you as opposed to now where it's limited to one fucking thing and that's it. It's just here's your currency dealt by the state with fucking usury debt attached to it, which fucking enslaves you for the rest of your life.
If you choose to participate in that.
And if you try to exchange that with other
insanity,
people
dude.
Without
you
our
do,
permission,
everybody
we'll
has to a certain
cage.
point, if you want
like the argument against like not being for anarchism, like I think you would
but
have to bring more evidence for being for the state than you would have to be for being free.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the burden of proof is definitely on there.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, this really good segue right here. Thanks to you guys, and it says U.S. federal borrowing will nearly double this year to almost $1 trillion due to the fiscal outlook.
Excellent.
Yeah.
While most of Washington was fixated on a classified memo from House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes last week, the Treasury Department said that it expects to borrow $955 billion in fiscal 2018, a 84% jump over fiscal 2017.
From where? How do you even borrow that much?
Now, quote, "We're addicted to debt," says Mark Goldwyn of the Community for a Responsible Federal Budget, blaming both Republicans and Democrats for the problem. Treasury predicts the U.S. will borrow more than $1 trillion in 2019 and more than $1.1 trillion in 2020. And this year's $955 billion is already the biggest jump in borrowing as a share of the GDP outside of a recession year during Ronald Reagan's presidency.
But I thought Trump was going to make America great again.
Yeah. Okay. Here, the U.S. borrowed 1.79 billion in 2009, and during the recession spent 1.1 trillion in 2012. But borrowing has been significantly below 1 trillion since 2000.
Well, yeah, because remember everybody made the big deal about our, fucking national debt hitting $1 trillion.
Oh, don't worry. The Republicans will totally be fiscal conservatives as soon as there's a Democrat in the White House.
Well, you know what I say? I say run that fucking debt through the goddamn roof. Fuck that Fed. Tell them it's fucking odious debt. We don't fucking owe shit on it because the fucking debt wasn't fucking benefiting the actual lives of the citizens. So therefore it's not legitimate and they can go fuck themselves. Fucking write off the goddamn contract we have with them and fucking shut them down.
Well, you know, I gotta bring up something Lou Fien says. Lou Sander Fien or whatever name he goes by on Facebook now.
That fucking guy.
That awesome other fiend. That awesome fucking guy. He says.
Just kidding. I love you,
guy.
Lou.
He says when
you'd be proud of me. I ate a whole pack of bacon by myself yesterday.
Nice.
And it was baked, not fried like a faggot.
Hey, Lou fries his bacon, okay?
I know he does.
He's the last
across the bow here.
I've watched him do it in person.
Baked bacon is UPB, you guys. Baked bacon is UPB.
Actually, mine was deep fried.
You should have thrown water in the pan.
That's how I do
or something.
mine.
You just stopped the fucking madness before it even started.
And then I deep fried some eggs, and that's what I had to eat yesterday. It was great.
I have a pitcher on my counter that's full of bacon grease, and I put it on the burner to melt it, and then I pour it into a pan, and I deep fry my bacon in it.
Oh,
hell
shit.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's next level shit.
That's next level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what are you saying about Luffy and Jason?
Just one
Flavor
of these days, Derica's gonna have a little farm with some pigs, and she's gonna fry the bacon inside of a pig using the pig fat.
That's right.
For the trifecta.
And then feed it to pigs.
And then feed it to pigs for the trifecta.
Feed it to Muslim pigs.
But
bacon out of bacon raised pigs. And deep fry it in bacon pig guys.
Yeah, Lufine says that the best way to get rid of government is to increase government.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason of that is that nobody makes more anarchists. Nobody makes anyone anti-government more than the actions of the government.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
I've
true.
always said that. I've said if you can draw them out and fucking make them look as tyrannical as possible, they'll slit their own throat in the fucking mind of the public.
Every single
the more
one of us,
the more extreme their action becomes, the more obvious it is, even to the ignorant plebes that never wanted to look at it before.
Yep. All four of us here are anarchists because the government reached a level of tyranny that we found unacceptable.
That we couldn't ignore anymore.
And we grew and we learned. So the more tyrannical, the more usurping, the bigger, the more disastrous and whatever else the government gets, the more people that are going to start going against it.
Right. The more invasive.
So borrowing $1 trillion,
despotic.
It sucks, but if it leads to the collapse, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And you know what the fucked up part is that
I flatly don't give a fuck.
The fact that we have a setup where we have to issue bonds and then sell those bonds essentially to the Federal Reserve and trade for fucking money or fiat currency that has absolutely no fucking backing to it whatsoever.
Totally fiat.
Fiat currency that the government prints. So
at the behest of the Federal Reserve, though, because then they punch it into the computers, and the Treasury fucking orders it, and the Mint prints it.
Isn't that awesome?
Okay.
That's what I need, a money printing machine.
The Treasury says print it,
That's legal,
the US
right?
government prints it, sends it to the Treasury sends it to the banks, which loans it out to people, which pay interest in order to pay back the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when in reality the loans that you take out from the bank are just money, are digits punched into a fucking computer, and there's no actual physical money fucking exchanged whatsoever.
Yeah, and the amount of money that the federal government borrows regularly or owes to the Federal Reserve, there isn't even that much
Money in
American
circulation.
currency in circulation.
No.
Yeah. And that's how they get you.
Impossible to pay back
Because
because there
Well,
isn't
not to
that
go
much
too
fucking
Bodhi
money.
Agora
It's not.
here, but
It's not.
money
It's
doesn't
not
even
impossible
exist.
to pay back.
That's true.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's a religion if you believe in it.
Currency.
But the whole thing is that like that's how they get you, is that they get you in usury slavery essentially, and make your population indentured fucking servants to the fucking banks, and then they gobble up your fucking natural resources and your fucking the property that the government claims that it owns, and they give it to the banks as collateral to the fucking debt that they owe them.
I know. And what is the biggest resource the government owns? The people.
There you go.
Well, yeah, exactly.
There's money right there. Silver certificate. That's money. Federal Reserve note. That's debt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not actually money, because I mean you can't cash a silver certificate. I mean you can in theory cash it in for silver's what, like
you used to be able to
an ounce right now.
There's some money right there. That's silver.
Yeah.
Great.
How much is silver an ounce?
$17 or something like
17
that.
or something like that now.
Well, they're suppressing.
It's
the market
between
as well.
12 and 20, like for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they suppress the market heavily too, though. You got to figure that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
Well, you also
like the whole thing with gold. Same racket.
Well, yeah, because then they can gobble it up at fucking.
Silver and gold. The value of silver and gold is measured in Federal Reserve notes.
Right, because it's not actually based on its utility as a precious metal.
Yes.
It's based on the value of the dollar.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
it's based on scarcity,
Which is fucked up
they
because
also control.
And it's fucked up because it's like if it's based on the U.S. dollar and the U.S. dollar isn't backed by anything, how the fuck does that work?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a giant fucking conundrum right there in itself.
This is like the world's biggest shell game.
Oh,
it's
totally,
like an
dude.
ongoing fucking scam that nobody wants to look at.
And like,
too
all right,
closely.
not to get into the J issue too much, but the whole thing with Syria pissed me the fuck off about how they tried to fucking, or they were launching fucking like full scale attacks on Western Damascus, the Israeli Air Force, right? Which we fund pretty much. And it's like if anybody fucking attacks Israel in retaliation, it's like, oh no, the whole world has to come in now because the persecuted people are fucking being attacked for attacking somebody first.
Right.
Without provocation.
Dude, you mispronounced the chosen people.
Right. The
But
special
it's
people.
it's fucked up. It's like a total double standard. It's like nobody else is like allowed to do anything to these people, like except for
Because you don't mess with the Zohan.
Yeah, silver currently. Silver is currently
Fucked up, man.
$16.28. Gold is 1316.
Like I have friends in Israel. Like I have a friend that actually plays basketball on one of the fucking like professional teams in Israel, and like I don't want to see those guys get fucking bombed. But at the same time, like,
well, no,
somebody would
we
lay
don't
the
see
fucking
anybody
wood to
get
Israel,
bombed,
dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, if you ask
somebody like a
as we talked about it before, right? The wars and things like that are poor people dying for rich people's pleasure. Right?
Yeah,
You talk to the average North Korean, you talk to the average Israeli, talk to the average Iranian, the average Syrian, the average American,
and they're all fucking decent
people. They don't want to
dude.
fucking bomb each other. They don't want to kill. They just want to live in peace.
Right.
Dude, I have friends all over the fucking world,
the people
in
in power,
and fucking
it's the people in
Afghanistan.
power, the global elitists that do this bullshit, and none of them will ever see a battlefield.
No,
not
but
at
they're
all.
the only ones who profit They
Yep.
are the only ones who benefit.
And
Literally,
it pisses me the fuck off. Because I try to network with people from all over the world, you know what I mean, just to get a different perspective of like, you know, how other people see things, and it's like we all pretty much see
I
things
tried
the
that,
same
but there were
fucking
too
way.
many requests.
It's just
for
that our
Bob's
governments
and
give
Bob's.
us a fucking bad name, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the actions of our governments are the ones that give everybody, the populace, a fucking bad name, and we all want pretty much the same shit. We just want peace, and we want to fucking be able to take care of our families and our friends and our communities and everything, and see everybody fucking prosper. And it's not that hard to figure out. You know what I mean? Everybody, other than the fucking people in power.
Right. all these assholes who actually want more, why don't we just toss them all in a fucking, you know, in an octagon together and let them fucking sort it out? That's their problem, not ours.
Everybody that I've talked
that would
to
be
from
great.
all over the fucking world that I know agree with that solution.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. That's like a universal sentiment that I hear from everybody all over the world. Yeah. Let those motherfuckers fight their own battles.
But yet they still keep voting.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I would pay to see Putin and Trump in Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Putin would slay him.
Putin's legit. He would rip Trump in half.
Putin would pretty much slay anybody on the face of the earth.
That'd be like watching Damien Silva or Anderson Silva beat Damian Maya by savage beating again.
I want to see them use Biden as the bait kitten. You know how, like, in dog fighting, they use a bait kitten?
That's terrible. Just tear them apart first.
You're right. Get their blood loss stuff.
Obama's on the outside having to be restrained. Biden.
Stoke the
rage. Save Joe.
Fuck him. Let him burn.
Oh, yep.
I got lampshades lampshades. So there we go with the fucking Jew jokes again. But anyway, I got lampposts for all these cocksuckers.
Right.
Yep. Tar and feather your local politician. Speaking of politicians,
change starts at the local level.
I mean, I don't want their blood on my hands, because I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to let them make me into that. So seriously, they're the ones with the fucking beef. They should be fighting to the death over their own fucking beefs with other leaders, and just leave the rest of us the fuck out of it.
Seriously.
It's not our beef.
Where's the beef?
The beef is in Kansas.
Yeah.
Where they scrambled to change the rules after 16s entered.
Well, you know what? Without the order followers, you wouldn't have this fucking issue.
Without the
what? It happened on the ground. So without the order followers, you wouldn't have this issue, because they make it happen on the ground.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If they refuse orders,
hey,
we don't need boots on the ground. We need pants on the ground.
Hey, there would be no fighting.
Wait, did I say pants on the ground? I meant troops on the ground. Boots on the ground. Or something. Something along those lines. There's Freudian slip over here.
I'm just trying to drag that back down into the gutter.
Hey,
the responsibility goes all the way down to the individual.
There would be no.
Oh, it'll be a convoy, all right.
Just had a nice long bong hit.
That's right. That's right. Bongs, not bombs. That's right.
Bongs, not bombs, yeah. I created a Facebook page with that title, but I haven't really done anything with it yet.
Oh, nice.
Imagine like Trump smoking the bong with fucking like the leader of Iran.
Right. Or Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un. Yeah.
Dear leader and dear leader.
Imagine that fat little
fucker
stoned off his ass.
I'd smoke with Kim Jong-un's sister.
Yeah, me too.
Word up.
You see her?
Smoke that ass.
Who?
That girl's good looking.
Who are you talking about?
Seriously?
Kim Jong-un's sister? Yeah, she
really?
They showed her at the Olympics.
I can't imagine that bloodline producing anything attractive, but if you say so.
Something about those Asian women.
I guess. Until they hit 30, and then they're like 80 overnight.
Or the ones who are like 80 and still look like they're 30.
Right. There's two kinds of
Asian women. Yeah, how the fuck does that work? I take the latter over the former.
There's two kinds. There's the ones that are born old, gray, and stoop, right? They're born that way.
Yeah, but those are the ones that usually come over in the shipping containers.
Yo.
They have a hard life.
It all has to do with the foot binding, to be quite honest with you.
And that's the.
Hey, look.
That's the sister.
Nice.
Oh, she's kind of pretty.
She's cute.
Yeah. I've seen
I think she needs a freedom baby, to be quite honest with you. But
she's no Tia Carrera.
They give her a freedom baby and send her back to North Korea. The next dictator.
Dictator.
There was some dictating going on, I bet.
Yeah, buddy.
Keeping it royal.
Oh God.
Got to keep the bloodlines pure.
I hope she likes minivans.
Oh, man, yeah, for real.
Minivan, nothing.
Blast off like her brother's fucking rocket tests.
Oh God.
She's gonna ride the bullet train.
I hope it lasts a lot longer than her brother's rocket test.
Yeah, no joke.
That guy was an Acme.
Well, next thing you know, they'll probably blame fucking 9/11 on North Korea.
Oh my God.
I feel like we got it wrong this whole time.
Hey, do we have any comments?
You guys are corrupt. Just from Dylan. He's still talking about my hat.
Oh.
Shut the fuck
Let
up,
it go, Dylan. Let it go.
Oh, he likes it.
Yeah, but you know what? Dylan is like our one faithful watcher.
Right?
What's that, Jericho?
I said drop him a link already for where to get the hat.
I already told him. I said it on air.
Oh.
I got it from Libertarian Country.
Okay.
Nice plug.
That's right. You did say.
I got my shirt from China.
$20 for shipping. $20
if
shipping.
I got my sweatshirt from the McMinnville Grizzlies High School girls swim team.
Yeah, probably. If you guys aren't familiar with Wish, you need to get on it.
Oh my God!
Dylan says 9/11.
I get the fucking Joneses over the Wish notifications.
Oh my God! No, the fucking ads in my timeline from Wish. I'm like,
I've yet to get the cocaine straw.
Something is wrong with their fucking algorithms. Why would
they think
it's
amazing.
That
is amazing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's been some shit where I'm like, what in the turning my phone upside down? What the fuck is this? Oh my God.
Yeah, if you want some cheap entertainment, download the Wish app and type in adult as your search criteria.
Oh my God.
I'm sure the Wish ads in Mark's timelines are leather pants and cat.
Yeah, for real, dude.
That's 101 level shit.
Yeah. That's amateur hour.
I kid you not. Total amateur hour.
Yeah. That's romper room shit.
I'm like past PhD. I mean, this is like cutting edge research. Fresh out of China.
He's avant-garde.
Shipped to you in convenient 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
It's great. I love it.
Mark's been testing next level.
God bless capitalism out of communist China, right?
That's right. God.
That's how he knows about those Asian women in the shipping containers.
That's right.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
He's got
a half dozen of them.
He's got a
anything
minivan.
You want.
He's got a minivan with a jump seat.
Jesus.
It's the bullet train, baby. It's the bullet train.
We've gotten
I heard they got high speed rail in
China. We've had a lot of really productive conversations to show you guys.
Productive? We don't do this shit to be productive.
I know.
Hey, come on. For reals.
I know.
Going off
holy fuck
on the crazy train.
That's one of my that's like my
face
favorite
from
part
laughing
of
so
Megamind.
hard.
That song.
It's like the finale.
That movie. Megamind. I love that. when his minion comes busting through the door singing that song, but he calls him sir after singing it. So going off the rails on a crazy train, sir. Fucking cracks me up. Sorry. I had to watch that 3 times yesterday.
Lucky you.
Dude.
Yeah.
Kids' movies are like, I don't even know. It's like they don't even watch them just once.
I know. Oh.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know.
I know. I had 2 of them.
It's like brainwashing for parents.
I can spot a SpongeBob quote from like 500 feet away. I know every line of every fucking episode of SpongeBob.
SpongeBob's laugh haunts my dreams.
12 or 15 seasons or what the fuck ever it is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, my nephew, my oldest nephew, he was born in like 99, and my oldest niece, she was born in 2001. So it was like...
Yeah, my oldest son was born in 2001. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like...
2002.
Their dad passed away when my oldest nephew, he was 2, and my niece was like 9 months. So, like, I kind of, like, helped pick up the slack in terms of, like, you know, when my sister needed help, like, she had to go to work and whatnot, like, I babysit the kids for her.
Right.
And we used to watch SpongeBob and all that shit, like, on fucking repeat, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I know. We had so many DVDs of that shit sitting around our house.
I got it worse. Yesterday was my kid's birthday. It was my kid's 18th birthday.
Yep. Yay.
And we were telling stories. Their mom and I were embarrassing telling the stories. And I had to tell this one about when they were 3 years old. My younger brother, Bo, he's a bit of a smart ass. It runs in the family.
Yeah, I can say. That sounds odd.
I can't see that at all.
Yeah.
And he goes to the mall to KB Toys and finds this cute little girl that's working there and walks up to her and goes, it's my niece and nephew's birthday. I need the noisiest, loudest, most annoying toy that you have.
Right. Yeah.
Of course.
That's how feuds happen, where family members don't talk to each other for years.
No, it went full circle. So they ended up with this SpongeBob toy. It had this little plastic microphone with a little magnet in it. And
you told me about this.
And when you put the microphone in SpongeBob's mouth, it would say a phrase. There was only 12 phrases, and the stupid laugh. It went 3 years. It went 3 years before the battery died.
Oh wow!
Holy shit!
Okay, and then
you can't even for anybody who doesn't know, you can't even take the batteries out of this kind of shit because your kid knows how much it weighs, and if you take the batteries out, they know the difference. I'm not joking. They know just by picking it up.
You just have to swap the batteries out.
And I got guilted. I got guilted into replacing the batteries, which I did.
Good dad.
And then about a year after replacing the batteries,
stand your ground.
And then about a year after replacing the batteries, so they're about 7 years old now. This toy's like 4 years old. They finally get tired of it. It's in the bottom of the toy box by itself. Hasn't been played with in months. And it goes off in the middle of the night.
Right, because the batteries start dying, and it starts going. No,
the batteries were still good, and it would just in the middle of the night, like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, it would just go off like 3 or 4 times and then stop.
Yeah,
and it did this for like 3 weeks. Like I was like, okay, it happened, whatever. Okay, I'm ignoring it, and then it happened the next night, and then it happened for like a week straight. And I took it and I put it in the shed out back.
Right.
And then
because you don't want to pull it out of the toy box where they can see you, because that might renew their interest in it.
Yep. You have to wait. Right. You have to wait and then hide it.
Right.
That is how shit works too.
And then my brother had twins in 2011.
Nice.
2014, they got that fucking toy back.
Nice.
As a birthday gift. With fresh batteries.
Nice.
Oh,
and now he also
the Energizer, the long lasting, or the Duracell, the good batteries.
And he also his kids are now 8, or his kids are now they'll be 8 this year. and he has a 1.5-year-old that plays with the toy still.
Nice.
Long live the
Awesome.
SpongeBob toy.
Right.
Most annoying fucking toy in existence.
Well, I don't know if you guys ever seen that skit by Dennis Leary where he talks about don't buy the toys that make the noise or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he's like talking about how like you'd be like creeping through your fucking apartment or your house at like 1 o'clock in the morning trying to get something to eat out of the refrigerator.
You
like
kick
be
it.
stepping fucking lightly not to set the toys off
The
and shit.
slightest vibration sets one off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like all of a sudden like you step too hard and all of a sudden you're like Luke, I am your father.
Right.
Yep. After
No,
Because the
it's-
Darth
having
Vader
it's the
fucking piggy
worst.
bank went off and shit.
It
Yep.
is the worst when the batteries are dying and it's still doing that because the
Creepy.
shit sounds like a fucking poltergeist is in your house.
Or is
It's
one in your
so
house?
scary.
I can only imagine.
Oh my god.
I'd be creeped the
It's
fuck out.
so
You see me like
creepy.
3 o'clock in the morning burning that shit in the yard.
Inside a circle of salt, right?
Yeah, for real, dude. Like, exercise the demons.
Right.
All right, I got one more. I got one more article real quick, you guys.
Okay.
Bitcoin mining is potentially more energy intensive than gold mining.
Nice.
Yeah. As technological roadblocks continue to hamper Bitcoin's use as a functional currency, many have taken to defining it as digital gold. But if Bitcoin were to replace gold as a commonly
Yeah,
accepted
except
store of
Bitcoin
wealth,
is worth more money.
a lot more,
Yeah, right.
lot more money.
A lot more
A
money.
recent comparison, blah, 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 let's see, even though they're not identical activities, bear with me at this point, according to the blockchain consultant, blah, 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 Bitcoin mining is at least 3.25 times more energy intensive than gold mining per dollar mined.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And here we are back to basing it on Federal Reserve notes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Well,
Bitcoin
I mean, that's
mine-
our whole economy is based on it. Like, people know how many Federal Reserve notes their house is worth, or how much it costs in Federal Reserve notes to get a can of fucking cream corn. You know,
Well,
I
not
mean,
only
like,
that, but
that's
it's kind
the
of
frame of
global too,
reference.
because of the fact that people have to operate in fucking petrodollars.
The petrodollar, yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's the frame of reference people have.
Yeah, and it's
So-
kind of sad. Well, I mean, now we're seeing a kind of a decentralization in terms of countries going their own way in terms of gold-backed currency, like Russia and China, and then you got Venezuela going with a cryptocurrency that's going to be backed by gold and diamonds and minerals and oil. So it's kind
Yeah,
of
because
diversifying
Venezuela
in
is
terms
such a
of
trustworthy,
yeah, no,
Uh,
but I'm saying
stable
Berkeley,
platform.
Berkeley,
But no,
California.
they're-
Berkeley, California is creating its own digital crypto coin.
Huh.
well, I think it's going to be kind of because
It's
like
gonna be
like you
shaped
said,
like a
they're
safety
trying
pin.
they're trying to regulate it,
Berserkly.
right? They're trying
Yeah.
to regulate it in terms of like state
See,
control
now, okay,
over the fucking
you
market.
you brought up another one, a reserve, regulate, right? Either cryptocurrency is an actual threat to Federal Reserve and centralized banking, or it is not a threat. To
Well,
try and regulate it, to me, says
Well,
that
it
Makes it
certainly
sound like
is,
a threat.
because once it's regulated, forget it.
Well, that's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's
is that
the whole
they,
point. It's
they
a threat, so
want,
they want to regulate it.
Yeah, but they'll
They don't
tell you
like the
again and again and
decentralized
again that it's
version
not
of it.
currency. That's not real money.
They don't
Right.
like the decentralized version of it. They would prefer a centralized version of it where there's nationwide
That they can control.
cryptocurrency. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That they can control, and then
Dude,
they
they're
can
talking
shut
about
off if you
controlling currency,
decide.
and here I am floating upside down. Check
But I mean,
this
think
shit
about
out.
it though. Like, if
Nice.
everybody jumps on this cryptocurrency bandwagon and doesn't deal in actual physical currency, right? It's so much easier to control the populace, because if anybody steps out of line, you can just cut off their ability to fucking eat
Right.
Yep. Or
Which
just
is
take it
yet-
off.
yet-
or operate
yet
within the
another
market at
reason
all.
I don't like
Yeah,
digital
or
money.
just seize it. Right. Yeah. And nobody would have a chance to defend it because they don't physically have it.
That's my worry, is that if it goes beyond decentralization and goes to centralization by the state, That's a fucking dangerous territory.
Right. I agree.
Well, Bitcoin's already like 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
See, that's why I stockpile shit like antibiotics. I'm gonna be the richest woman in the post-apocalyptic world.
Well, somebody was saying trade crypto. Somebody was saying it would be smart to trade cryptocurrency or buy ammo with cryptocurrency, so you could use that as a currency if there was ever like a shit hit the fan kind of situation.
Cigarettes, ammo, and antibiotics.
Well, see, and here's my thing. In my opinion of this, and this is way far like shit hits the fan. I think like U.S. dollars are going to be the basis for like they're going to be like, you know, the modern day fucking polished shells. You know, because everybody knows what they're fucking worth.
Because it's familiar.
Right.
That is possible.
You know, fucking coins, you know, even shitty new coins that, you know, have no precious metal content.
Right. Like,
you know,
but
still
like
going to be better than a fucking Bitcoin.
Because it's a common medium of exchange.
Society like has a concept of what $1 is worth.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
in terms of goods and services
people
and shit
who
like
have
that.
resources and like even things like stockpiles of stuff, while they will be useful on a small scale, it's not wealth. It's not gonna be wealth. It's gonna get you by day to day.
That's where money and wealth are confused. Like a dollar will be money, but it won't be wealth because what you value, what I value would be different. If I value her goods more than I value the dollar bill.
Right. Having a refrigerator full of antibiotics is going to be good.
Yeah. Well, not a refrigerator. They're shelf stable.
Or you know what I mean, a cabinet full.
Yeah, fish box.
You know, right.
But it's trade.
That's a lot different than a tractor trailer load full. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's not valuable or not smart.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying as far as wealth and what people consider to be wealth,
it's a medium of trade.
They're totally wrong, looking at it from a wrong-headed. You know,
wealth is land and
lumber.
The materials
it's not just land. It's the ability to use that land. Is what we're, and that's where so many.
I was just going to say that, but you cut me off.
So many people have this shit backwards, especially like, you know, you look at things like there was a discussion in a group on Facebook about, you know, pick your apocalyptic survival team, and everybody's like weapons. Nah,
right. And what I was
wrong.
Say was land
that's
and
important.
The ability and the means to sustain your life with that land.
Right.
If you can do that, fuck everybody else. If you have the tools that you need, the knowledge and how to use them, you know, if you know how to harvest your own seeds from your garden, you know, like the real wealth is land and the knowledge of what to do with it.
Right.
Yep.
And to a lesser extent is the ability to hold that land in that sort of scenario.
That's where ammo comes in.
I'm not going to deny the validity of being able to defend what you got.
Right.
But people mistake that too. They're like, oh, you know, I've got a rifle, or, you know, I keep a handgun under the bed, you know.
Right.
Well, that's great to a point. Same thing like with first aid supplies.
Enough land to produce enough food where I've got a couple friends who want to come here and help us defend this property. We're talking shifts.
Exactly.
We're talking shifts with rovers with rifles, at least 2 on each shift. Like, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But people forget how labor intensive things like that are. People forget how labor intensive producing your own food is. And I'm not talking about like a backyard garden that you can some shit out of.
Right.
But to legit produce 90% of the food that you need to sustain your family.
You have to harvest your own seeds. There's a process for that. You know, you have to raise your own meat. You have to raise chickens or whatever.
Even before that, you have to have heirloom seeds to start with. Because most GMO seeds won't reproduce.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hybrids. It's not just GMO seeds. The hybrid seeds of 90% of the shit that you buy in the grocery store is going to be a hybrid, which some do,
or the
some
seeds,
don't.
even that you buy at the garden center, those seeds you can't always harvest.
Well, I mean, they still, you can tell which ones are hybrid. It's printed on the packaging.
Right.
Yeah. But like I said, some things do produce true, some things don't. Some things produce something different, but it's adequate.
Right.
It's a lot to know. It's not something you're going to pick up out of a book and be successful at.
No, not at all.
Right.
Trying to grow under austere conditions.
Right.
Yeah, botany
and it's not even
science,
it's not even just that, but even just cooking what you grow,
right.
or the meat that you grow or whatever. I mean, you're talking about splitting wood. You're talking about understanding, like cutting down trees and seasoning wood and splitting it and understanding you don't cook over the top of a fire. You have to understand what a cooking fire is versus a campfire. I mean, like, there's
could
so
you
much
imagine
knowledge.
And various woods burning at different temperatures.
Right. Yeah.
Could you imagine one of these jokers trying to wrangle a fucking 1,800-pound steer?
No.
These motherfuckers would be scared. They would be scared.
You know what I mean?
Ever saw a full-grown cow in person?
Not to mention, assuming they kill the motherfucker,
right.
How are they legit going to handle an 1,800-pound carcass?
Yeah. How are they going to process
ask the
all
Venezuelans
of that
that were trying to stone a fucking cow to death.
Yeah, they stoned a cow to death.
Exactly. Here, dude, hit some killer shit.
Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't even try.
Like moo.
Like I'm okay with the idea of chickens and rabbits because they're little and I can kill them with my hands if I have to.
Well, right.
Well, not only that, it's like it's
let
like
me tell you something about growing chickens for
in terms of it,
meat
spoiling.
Chickens. Yeah. It there again, it's not what people think. People don't understand poultry production. It's not having some birds run around the yard.
Right.
There's everybody
layers
thinks,
and there's meat birds and there's like all different kinds of chickens.
Right.
And
you can eat any chicken. It's like you can eat any animal.
Technically you could. Right. But if you're doing it for sustained long-term protein production, you need to be methodical about it. And there's a lot of knowledge that goes into that.
Yep.
And there's
ducks too. Don't forget ducks. Yeah. Ducks are good layers. They produce a lot of eggs.
Ducks are fucking delicious.
Yes, they are.
I don't like
orange
ducks.
glazed duck. Oh man,
I don't like duck a l'orange. I've always thought it would tasted a little greasy. Like
it does taste a little greasy, but I don't know. It's like a dark meat.
Yeah,
it's higher.
Not like insinuating that I prefer black chicks, but
dude,
we're all black when the lights go out, Dan.
Hey, my man.
Yeah.
Mark's minivan is pink on the inside.
That's what that's right. Me downward.
Oh, God.
I am anti-discrimination in that territory.
Jesus. Hey, what time is it, you guys?
Oh, it's
gotta get going.
Yeah. So,
quarter after 11.
All right, so we've been on long enough, you guys. So
we gotta wrap this shit up. People are going to watch after two and a half hours.
Before we end, I wanted to say something
after
really
2 hours,
quick
we
about
still
the
got
whole
3 people watching.
Sustainability thing.
Woohoo!
Okay, say it,
say
Dan.
what?
Say it, Dan.
No, I wanted to say something about how, like you guys were saying about the whole entire, survivalist aspect of things and how people don't understand what goes into it. Like I posted a quote earlier today by Thomas Paine about how he was talking about how the only way that a man, or people, whatever, man or woman, could enjoy the fruits of freedom.
Why not both?
Is if they, take on the burden and the responsibility, so to speak, of bearing, the responsibility of that freedom. You know what I mean? It doesn't just get fucking handed to you. Like, you have to work for that shit.
Right.
And that goes into exactly what you guys were saying. Like it's not easy work. You know, it's like if you're going to be responsible for your own situation and not have to rely on just driving down the street to the supermarket or whatever to get whatever you need, it's totally fucking different. Totally different.
Yep.
Yeah. And the concept of trying to get what you need out of your land without even electricity to help you. Yeah.
Yep. If you've ever cut trees with an
brings you
axe and a
back a while.
saw, you know the value of labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call it a misery whip.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. On that note, I'm going to sign off. So, peace.
All right.
See ya.